Welcome to the second and final day of the winter edition of AI and Blockchain Summit here in Malta. Today we're shifting our focus to the regulations in other territories, and we're going to get insights on the power of Bitcoin. This is Stephanie. Welcome to our Day 2 highlights. Day 2 continues to be buzzing with global artist Akon gracing the show and sharing his economic vision for Africa.
Africa itself is, from a population standpoint, as you know, is 1.2 billion and estimated to be 2 billion people in the next 5 to 10 years. 75% of that population is under 21, which are all young kids that's very tech savvy, that understands digital economy of what it is today, and they understand how to utilize cell phones on their day-to-day basic life. So I figured that has to be the target that we actually have to activate. And not only that, but we'll give them all the tools that they need to be able to move on into the future to develop it, but with a currency that brings us all together. And that's how that came about.
Africa is the world's largest emerging market for innovation and financial growth. Electroneum co-founder shares some factors that slow down regulation and why those should not be a concern in the region.
I think one of the biggest fears that the nations have as a whole is that Bitcoin particularly, but cryptocurrency is somewhere that can outflow money from their country, and they're worried about that. But once they realize that actually cryptocurrency can bring money into the country, it's a taxable revenue. You know, this is a way for people, if you can create more GDP, then your country is going to be better. So I think they'll start encouraging it when they see that.
DeFi, or decentralized finance, is one of the buzzwords right now in the space. Though regulations would still depend on certain jurisdiction, this sector poses a massive opportunity to creating business ideas and models.
I'm seeing a lot of projects emerging when it comes to open finance, or rather open lending protocols. So again, peer-to-peer micro-lending is a trend which is gaining more strength as time goes by. There's also, and I'm keeping a very keen eye on the development of stablecoins. Right now, one of the main issues being faced by stablecoins is they're all centralized. Now, how do you make stablecoins decentralized? Well, you have to remove the so-called backing element, whereby you need to back the token with a real-world asset. What if there's no need to back it? What if there's some kind of, let's say, way to stabilize it using technology? And if someone manages to come up with a decentralized concept of a stablecoin, well, that would be a very big thing, I would say.
Jimmy Nguyen explains how big data, an important element in artificial intelligence, can work with blockchain, specifically with Bitcoin SV.
When you look at the blockchain as what it is, it's a commodity data ledger. It's a way of keeping on a distributed basis forms of data. And Bitcoin is a form of data. In fact, Bitcoin is really just the fusion of bit data and coin money all together. And we haven't seen this yet at Bitcoin because the prior Bitcoin projects, Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Cash, didn't let the chain scale as big. So you couldn't fit a lot of data in the blockchain. But with Bitcoin SV, we're scaling so big that we can do microtransactions and micropayments where it costs less than 1/10 of 1 US cent to send a transaction on the BSV chain. And you can attach and embed data into the blockchain. Large streams of it because it's so inexpensive to send and do that. And so that means you can have data recorded to the blockchain that is openly accessible to anyone in the world so that developers, scientists, and companies can access that as a pool of data for big data analysis. And whoever is providing the data could even charge for access to it. But that means we have a universal source, not just of truth, but a universal source of big data that everyone can access. And that's what's starting to happen on the BSV chain already.
As the show comes to a close, Craig Stephen Wright delivers an honest account of what honest money is to a mixed crowd of developers for the world and those who are only in it for profit.
So Bitcoin was designed to be honest money. Now what I mean by that is a system that is not friendly for criminal activities, that will allow nearly instantaneous micropayments, that will allow people to save their money, be protected, to stop things like fraud and crime. Now people don't get it. They think that you can't take Bitcoin because you have your keys. That's utterly wrong, especially this digital gold mentality. That makes it so easy to be seized.
Get more insights from thought leaders on the blockchain space from this event and more by subscribing to CoinGeek.com.